What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. We are back with another off-season rebuild, and this is the last team that was eliminated from round one, that being the Atlanta Hawks. I had to give credit where it's due to Atlanta. They gave Boston a hell of a lot more of a fight than I thought they would, but let's go ahead and jump in and do this Atlanta Hawks off-season rebuild. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like on this one, subscribe if you are new to the channel. As always, greatly appreciated. So when it comes to Atlanta, I love the hiring of Quinn Snyder. It seems like he came in right away and made a difference, and obviously came in the middle of the season. So let's see what he can do with the full offseason. I expect this team to make some subtle changes. I know there's some talks about potentially trading Trae Young away. I don't think it'll escalate that quickly this soon, but I guess anything is possible. So you have Trae Young and Murray. Of course, there is going to be, I would assume, some lineup changes. Maybe they finally trade John Collins. He's been in rumors forever. I'm going to try to trade him this offseason. Technically speaking, though, if you've been playing 2K since the trade deadline, I technically don't have to do anything. This team just already wins a championship automatically. Just weirdly enough, in 2K, they're just that good. So technically, I could just sit here, chill, relax, not touch the team, and we'll win a championship eventually. But obviously, that's not really a good video. But that's just how overpowered Atlanta is in 2K, which is actually ridiculous. But regardless, we are going to walk away with the 15th overall pick in this draft. Blazers get number 1, so Vic is going to Portland. Hopefully that happens on May 16th, but that's a topic for another day. Staff signing, we got Quinn Snyder, and obviously he'll be able to assemble his own coaching staff this offseason. So that's going to be, like I said, another thing Quinn Snyder can do. So let's fill this out, and then let's head to draft night. And I think we're going to trade John Collins for draft night. It's time to do it, man. It's been a long time coming. Today's video is brought to you by Prize Picks. The NBA playoffs are officially upon us, and there's no better way to get more out of the NBA playoffs that you're watching with Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a player props app that allows you to bet overs or unders on the players you love watching. Let me show you the website. Prize Picks is available on mobile or desktop. Currently, we're on the desktop version, and you're going to be opened up with this. Basically, you have every sport you can imagine. You got tennis, soccer, PGA, CSGO if you're into stuff like that, MMA, but we're here for the NBA. The play-in tournament is officially starting, and I'm looking at some of these props right here, and I'm feeling juicy. So all you basically do, you can choose between 2 to 6 players. This is my favorite way of getting more out of the game I'm watching. I'm already going to watch the game, so might as well have some fun with it. So let's say I wanted to go Clint Capella over points, and let's say I want to go like maybe over Tyler Hero's prop as well. You just go more and more. 2 players is 3 times your money, and you can go all the way up to 25 times with 6 players. If you're still unsure about it, here are some examples of winnings I've had in the past, and you can go ahead and sign up with my link down in the description below. Use code Crushables. They're matching your deposit dollar for dollar up to $100 for first-time users. Thank you, Prize Picks, for sponsoring today's video. So here's my first idea for this offseason. It's making a swap with the Charlotte Hornets. The reason why we're doing this is we're trying to get off a bunch of money, and we have some forwards in the shadow, so I think it'd step up for us immediately anyway. So we get rid of John Collins and DeAndre Hunter. Hunter has 4 years left of his contract. Collins has 2 years left. We are taking on Rozier's contract, but he'll be a really good point guard off the bench. And then we get Hayward's expiring, which of course we get off of that in a year. So I think this would be a very valuable trade. I think the Charlotte Hornets would love to take on a couple forwards that could help out LaMelo Ball immediately. And we're just getting off a bunch of money, and we have guys that I think are going to be able to step up immediately. So I'm going to offer this. They do agree, and we walk away with Rozier and Gordon Hayward. I understand some of you may not be the biggest fan of that trade, but I have a game plan. So I'm going to go ahead and go Terry Rozier as the backup point guard to be the 6th man of this Atlanta team. I like him off the bench in a 6-man role. I think he's really going to thrive there. So I love that first addition. Gordon Hayward, someone obviously I'm not like super proud to have. I'm not making him a part of the long-term plans, but maybe his $31 million at the trade deadline could come in handy, that being an expiring salary. And we can have Bay and AJ Griffin step up immediately in those forward spots, which is why we did so, because Bay develops and so does AJ Griffin. So I feel like we're fine with those two, and we get off a bunch of money. So I feel pretty good about that first initial trade, and we still have our 15th overall pick. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So Atlanta, Charlotte, let me know what you guys thought of that overall trade, if you thought it made any sense at all. So we have Chris Murray on the board. We have Tevin Smith, Colby Jones, Anthony Black, Dariq Whitehead, Raylan Rupert, Monty Bates, Caleb Love Phillips. I saw Derek Lively. I saw Keontae George. I feel like I could get him way too much, though, so I don't really want to get him today. I think I am going to take Taylor Hendricks, though, at pick 15. I think he makes a lot of sense as another forward we can bring in, since we did just trade Hunter and Collins. And then we can go ahead and draft like Leonard Miller here in round 2. So feel pretty good about that. We walk away pretty nicely out of this draft, get a couple forwards to replace what we just gave up. So Hendricks and Leonard Miller, and we get younger. So I feel good. Rookie options, Matthews and Craigie, I'm going to decline. Jalen Johnson's another guy who could maybe potentially step up for us. Bay, and then Bogdanovich, of course, will accept that. Okongwu, of course, is someone I think we want to keep long-term as well. So there is maybe an initial plan to trade Capella this offseason, as we can do that as well. So free agency, not a ton of money, and I don't think we have any important free agents to re-sign either, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, no bird rights on anybody. So if we take a look at the current rotation, Trae Young and Rozier, I love the addition of Rozier. Bogdanovich, so our backup backcourt is going to be really good. Bogdanovich and Rozier can get buckets off the bench for us. So like I said, our forwards got AJ Griffin, Hendricks, very young forwards, very, very young. But I think AJ Griffin can step up immediately next year. And then got Jalen Johnson, Sadiq Bey, which I like, and Okongwu and Capella. I think I am going to try to trade Capella this offseason as well. Give Okongwu that full-time starter role, which is why I want to start here. So that is going to be what I do next, I believe. So let's go ahead and trade Capella and see what we can get for him. So it looks like I might be trading Capella here to Washington. I am trying to build up my asset pool. That way I can attach Hayward's contract to some assets to maybe get somebody big at the deadline potentially. So I'm going to offer Capella for Avdia and a first-round pick. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind not even getting Avdia. Like, just 2 firsts would be fine by me. And then give me like a Johnny Davis or something like that as a young player I could throw in a trade. So let's do something like this. They, of course, don't agree to that. Let's say it's 1 pick then. That might be more fair. Johnny Davis and a lottery protected pick for Capella. They counter. I'm not giving you 2 firsts. That's insane. Let's not do that. Johnny Davis may be too valuable for them. Or even just 1 first would be fine as well. Or maybe give like Isaiah Todd. They do agree to that. So we get a first-round pick for Capella. I feel pretty good about that. We get some assets. Like I said, Hayward's contract is something I'm going to be looking at the deadline to attach to some assets and maybe make a big move if it's there. And then Bay, Jalen Johnson, and Okongwu and Fernando. So I'm going to roll with this. I think I'm good. We definitely changed things up a lot. I want to make some changes here in Atlanta. I wouldn't mind getting like another backup center just to be on the safe side. But the options here are pretty slim. I feels like I always go for the Metu guy because obviously he's the youngest one here that you can sign. But if there's anybody else, I guess Omer wouldn't be too bad either. So I'll give him like a 3-year deal. Maybe Miami will match it. Maybe they won't. And we are going to get him. And we just opened up an $18 million trade exception as well with Capella's salary, which we'll see if we use it. But that is going to be our offseason. Definitely an interesting one, I will say. Like I mentioned, we could have just kept things the same and probably went on to win a championship eventually. But I did want to make my own changes. And AJ Griffin, Sadiq Bey are going to step up in those forward spots. Rozier is going to be backing up Murray and Young. So it's going to be kind of an interesting lineup here in Atlanta. But I'm excited. I think we made some good changes. I will see you guys at the deadline to hopefully be able to use that Hayward expiring. Because if we don't use it, then I feel like I wasted Hunter and obviously, Collins. We should be able to use that asset that we got and Hayward's expiring and try to use it to our strengths. So let's go ahead and see what we can do here. So Trae Young, they want to start Gordon Hayward. I honestly don't even want Hayward in the rotation, if I'm going to be honest with you. He's a solid player and all, but I don't want him to start. He probably could come over and help out Atlanta, don't get me wrong, but he's just someone I don't really want to, throw my eggs in on here in 2K because he just doesn't really turn into anything. So we take him out of the rotation. It'll be Trae Young, Murray, AJ Griffin, Sadiq Bey, Okongwu, Rozier, Bogdanovich. He's fine coming off the bench, I guess. We don't have to completely remove him from the rotation. But at the deadline, like I mentioned, Gordon Hayward, I'm going to try to get rid of you. So just don't get too comfortable, but I'm going to run a permacentric system, and I'll see you guys at the deadline where hopefully we can make a big move with Hayward's salary. So like I mentioned, we did stop at the trade deadline, and despite all the moves we did, we're still the 3rd seed in the East, 36-19, so things are still going pretty well. But I would love to make another move if I could, because I have that Hayward expiring, which is going to obviously be a handy asset I can use right now. And I got like Bogdanovich's contract. I have some other things I can use. So there's some move we could make if we wanted to. Now, the only guy I really saw that could make a little bit of sense that we could probably get right now who is going to be around Hayward's salary. The Lakers just realized with Anthony Davis would be cool, but they're buying right now. But the guy I was kind of looking at is on the Timberwolves, and that is Cat. So right now, Karl-Anthony Towns is listed on the trade block. The following players on the trade block: Karl-Anthony Towns. So I mean, we can add Cat to this Atlanta squad. Defensively, though, it would be kind of interesting to add him here. I will say that. I don't know how great that would be. We do have Murray in the backcourt, who's a good perimeter defender. Trae Young, of course, really isn't. Cat isn't really going to be much either. So it could be tough, but we could kind of rely on our forwards maybe to hopefully help us out with that. I don't know. But 2K and defense doesn't seem to matter that much. So maybe in real life, this isn't a great idea. But I'm going to try for this. If I can't get it to work, then it is what it is. I'm not going to go too crazy about it. But literally, Cat's making the same amount that Gordon Hayward is right now. So that's kind of why I'm tempted to go for this. So obviously, Hayward is not going to get it done just for Karl-Anthony Towns. I don't have to throw more in here, but if I can keep some of my main assets here, that would be phenomenal. I'm going to try to keep Okongwu if I can off the bench, although I am going to have to pay him, so I don't know how well that's going to go. He's having a solid season, so I do feel bad for, kind of kicking him out of that starting spot because we could have developed him, but I do want to try to make a big move with this contract that I have. So I'm going to offer Gordon Hayward, Jalen Johnson, Taylor Hendricks, who I just drafted, and then you give me, and they got plenty of minimum, so we're in a good spot. And I got that Wizards pick. I have my unprotected Atlanta pick, which has no value, so we're not going to worry about that. That Kings pick has some value, which is great, and that Wizards pick should have some value. And then I'm going to also offer, do I have anything else I can offer to them that might be valuable to them? We have Fernando, Omer. I mean, I don't know if Omer would have crazy value. They don't really see that as much. AJ Griffin, I'm not trading. Rozier, I'm not trading. Bogdan, I'm not going to trade. We can resign him for really cheap this offseason, I think. Isaiah Todd would be the other guy. I'm just going to throw an extra pick in here. So let's throw my 2028 Atlanta pick, which technically, I don't even know if I can trade that pick, but whatever. I'm just going to offer this. So the Sacramento pick, that Washington pick, Hendricks, Jalen Johnson, Hayward, and I am going to throw one more pick in. I feel like it's more fair if I have at least one more pick in here. So pick swap with the Spurs. Do they accept? They do, in fact, accept that trade. And we use that Hayward expiring for good use and get Karl-Anthony Towns on this Atlanta squad. So Cat is our brand new center with our new forwards of Trae Young, Murray, AJ Griffin, Sadiq Bey, Karl-Anthony Towns, Terry Rozier, Okongwu, Bogdan, and Omer. I love it. I think our bench is phenomenal as well. A lot of centers getting minutes right now. So Cat and then Okongwu getting a bunch of minutes, and then shooting guard. So looking pretty good. At the forward spots, we're a little, I'm going to move Bogdan to the 3, I guess, which that should help that out a little bit. So Bogdan will go to the small 4. He's up to an 81, makes him even better. And our rotation's looking pretty good. So I'm going to hope and pray that this can turn into a championship year. I'm going to throw Bogdan back to the bench. I want to see AJ Griffin still continue to start, unfortunately, for you, Bogdan. So I'm going to throw AJ Griffin back out there, but we're going to still win the rest of the season. Let's see how we finish out with Cat added to the squad. Luka just casually gets MVP, averaging a 40-point triple-double on the season. Victor in a Blazers jersey, which is absolutely beautiful, wins Rookie of the Year. Jordan Poole, 6-man, Robert Williams, defensive player, Garland, most improved. 28-13 for second. I thought that said 20-20. I have no idea why. Doc Rivers, Coach of the Year and Harrison Executive. So here's your All-NBA first team. I'm assuming Trae Young is on here somewhere. He is not. I thought for sure he would be, but all defensive team. Do we get like a Murray representative? We do not. So we end up as a third seed in the East, going up against Washington, who we made a trade with in the offseason. But here were your stats. You had 25 and 11 from Trae Young. Beautiful. Karl-Anthony Towns with 23. 20 from DeJounte Murray. And then you had 14 from Rozier, 11 from Bey, 11 from Bogdan, and then 10 from AJ Griffin, and then 7 from Okongwu. How did AJ Griffin shoot from 3? 34%. I'm sure that'll keep getting better. Sadiq Bey shot 40% from 3, so you love that. Rozier 35, 38 from Murray, 39, and then 44. So do we go on to win a championship in year 1? I mean, Atlanta's done it plenty of times in the past, but of course I have changed the way this roster looks, so not really sure if we'll get it done. We shall see. Let's simulate current round against Washington and see if we can take them down, and we do beat them in 5. So we're on to round 2, and now we get to play Philadelphia, so at least we get to round 2. And as we know, in the past, Atlanta did beat Philadelphia. Now, that might have been just because of the whole Ben Simmons thing, but maybe we can do it again. Let's see. Game 1, we're up 1-0, 159 and 136. Joel Embiid, 20 or 38. I mean, they had literally all 4 of their guys, their big 4, had like their best games, and we still beat them. That hopefully is a good sign. AJ Griffin had a phenomenal game, and our big 4 went off as well. And then Rozier and Bey chipped in. So, game 2, we're up 2-0. So we literally might be punching our ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals if we can keep this up. We took both their games at home. We're in a good position, and they are going to take one at home for us, but we win the other one, and we beat them in 5. Let's go, baby. We are in the Conference Finals in year 1, and now we get to play Cleveland. So Cleveland is another team in this game, as we know, that's tough to beat, but I feel like we're going to be going back and forth with these guys the whole video if we don't win now. So here we go. Game 1, they're up 1-0. Game 2, we even it up by 1. Game 3, 2-1. Game 4, even it up. Back and forth. 3-2 lead for them, though. So if we want any chance to keep it going, we're going to have to win this game 6. I'm gonna listen to the rotational advice. We're gonna go down. I just realized I'm running a 10-man rotation. I would have preferred a 9-man rotation in the playoffs, but I'm gonna go down to 8 for these for this game 6 and game 7. So if we can force the game 7 anyway. So here we go. Game 6 at home. We have to go back to Cleveland if we're able to win this one. Can we do it, though, is the question. One game at a time approach. It's going to be a close game. We're trying to get back into it at the very end. We do, and we run away with it. 98-106. Rozier 21. Big time in that closeout, or not closeout, game 6. But now we go to a game 7. They want to give AJ Griffin the minutes back at the starting small forward, whatever works. And here we go, game 7 in Cleveland. So here we go. Can we go out there and win game 7 and make it to the NBA Finals for the first season in this video? Can we do it? It's a back and forth game, as back and forth as it can get, and we're running away with it. And we have punched our ticket to the NBA Finals this easily. 25-13 from Trae Young, and now I get to play the Golden State Warriors. So do the Warriors still have it, or is there a team that's ready to take over, and that being Atlanta? Here we go. Game 1, 1-0 lead. Game 2, they even it up. Game 3, 2-1. Oh man. Oh, wait a minute. We're not done. 3-2 lead. Let's go. Can we beat them at 6? Let's go, man. I think that's the fastest I've won a championship in this offseason rebuild series this far. I'm gonna be honest. I think that's the fastest I've won a championship. We beat the Warriors in 6 and get ourselves a championship. Now, I will say Atlanta, of course, is overpowered, so I'm not going to take like too much credit and be like, oh my goodness, I'm a genius, because for some reason, this algorithm really loves Atlanta since the trade deadline. But I'm not going to end it off on that note. I'm going to go another year, maybe 2. We'll see. I'm going to definitely just go 1 more year, because I feel like I owe that to you guys. I don't want to end it off on that note. We definitely could, because we're ending on a high note, but I feel like I can, wait it out, see some more progression from our guys. We have the 30th pick in this draft, apparently. Staff signing. We're going to have Quinn Snyder still, and I can just fill this out and get a perimeter defense coach, get a post D coach. But I'm so happy we won a championship that quickly. Like, it feels like I did a great job, but then I have to remember, like I just mentioned, 2K loves Atlanta. So is it really me that did it, or is it just, 2K loving Atlanta? Who knows? But regardless, I don't really care who we get at 30th overall. They're not going to be a huge part of this video since we already won. Got Zach Edey, so welcome to Atlanta. Player options, AJ Griffin, Fernando, Isaiah Todd. I mainly want to see how much AJ Griffin will develop since we started him all year. Of course, Bogdan's still a few minutes here and there from him. Martin, Bay, Okongwu, and I don't know how much these two are going to cost, but it's probably going to cost me a lot. But hopefully we can keep everybody if we can. So free agency time. We're going to have DeJounte Murray, who I totally forgot is a free agent. Okongwu, if he's going to want $31 million, I might be out on that. I can't pay Cat 50 and then Okongwu, our backup center, 30. That is going to be impossible. So there is part of me wishes I maybe threw him in that Cat trade. At least he'd be going to good use, I guess, because I don't know if I can justify paying my guys that much money. But regardless, I am going to pay Murray because we're going to have to keep him next to Trae Young. And then Bogdan, Sadiq Bey, I would love to bring him back. But again, $30 million for Sadiq Bey is insane. So I don't know what we're going to do here, because if I'm Atlanta, I'm looking at those guys asking for that much, and I'm calling them insane. So let's go ahead and get Murray back. That's fine. I can justify that. Bogdan, I'll give a 1-year deal to. I don't want to commit to him long term, but signing him to a 1-year contract is fine. And then, I mean, we could sign another guy, but do we really need anything else? Let's see. So we got Rozier still, Murray, AJ Griffin, Bogdan, Isaiah Todd, and then we have, 2 backup centers, I guess, technically. So I guess I'll just wait on Okongwu and Bay's qualifying offer if I needed to bring 1 player in. So we're going to hopefully get Bay back at the 4. And then we're going to have, I guess we could use a backup power forward. So let's sign 1 maybe. So like not a ton of good options, I'll be honest though. Let's go like Derrick Jones Jr. 1 year, I guess, just to be on the safe side. And I'll wait on Okongwu and Bay if they come back to their qualifying offers or not, because I cannot justify giving them as much as they're asking for. So let's see. Forrest, Martin, Bay, and Okongwu. So they're all back, which is great. Player progression. This is where I wanted to see how things would go. So Griffin is up to an 81. Okongwu is up. Bay is up. We got everybody back pretty much, which is a really good sign. But we're going to lose people after the season. So I might just end it off after this season that we just run here real quick. Since we've already won a championship, maybe we can make it 2 in a row. That'd be really cool. But let's see what our lineup is looking like after, free agency. So we didn't do a ton, obviously, but Trae Young, Murray, AJ Griffin, Bay, Cat, Okongwu, Rozier, Bogdanovich, and then Omer, which that's us running a 9-minute. Let's run a 9-minute rotation. I guess the reason I'm going to throw Derrick Jones in there over Omer, though, since we do have Okongwu already playing backup center minutes. So do something like that. I'm going to run the rest of the season like this. We'll see if we're back being a contender in the East again. I would assume so. We'll see what happens. So we ran it back another season, and we got the 2nd seed in the East. So if we go take a look at these player stats, we had 26 and 12 from Trae Young, 18 from Murray, 16 from Cat, 13 from Bay, 13 from Griffin, and 12.5 from Rozier. So everyone kind of chipped in. It was a little bit of an effort here, of course, all around, which is great to see. Team effort. We got Toronto in round 1. I would love just to be able to punch my ticket back to the conference finals at the very least. Now, Toronto, I will say, has a very interesting team they have, kind of added. So Cole Anthony is making probably like $1 million, right? I mean, I don't know how they afford it. Oh, he's making 20 million. Somebody's making $1 million. There it is. Clay's making $1 million. Barnes, of course, still on his rookie contract. Porzingis is getting paid. Vucevic is getting paid, and that was a rookie draft pick. Yeah, they have an interesting team. They technically could beat us here. They have a pretty good lineup. So many current round. Hopefully we don't end off on that. And of course we do. So we get eliminated in 6 games. Whatever. You know what? It's fine. I already won a championship. Cleveland. And you got the Blazers as well. And the Cavaliers still go on to beat them. So I hate to end off on losing in the first round. But I already got my championship out of the way. So I'm going to end it off on that note. Because it is going to be a disaster to keep Bey, Okongwu, and all this. And we're only going to get worse. So I'm gonna roll out. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Very easy, because Atlanta is that team in 2K. They're just they're literally that. Where's that meme? There's like, he's like, you're not that guy, pal. Well, Atlanta is that guy, at least in 2K. Thank you guys for watching. I've been rambling long enough. I'm gonna head out. This is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.